The sun had just set over the small village of Willowdale, casting a golden glow over the thatched roofs and the bustling streets. The villagers were all inside their homes, huddled around fires and candles, trying to warm themselves against the biting cold of the winter night. But there was one family who couldn't enjoy the comfort of their hearth. The Smiths lived on the outskirts of the village, in a small cottage surrounded by dense woods. They had always been a little isolated, but they had never felt unsafe until now. For days, the villagers had been whispering about strange noises coming from the forest. At first, they thought it was just the wind or stray animals, but soon the sounds grew louder and closer. It sounded like something big was moving through the trees, something that didn't belong. The Smiths tried to ignore it, but they couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. They would catch glimpses of movement out of the corner of their eyes, but whenever they turned to look, there would be nothing there. One night, as the family sat down for dinner, they heard a loud scratching noise at the door. They froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. The scratching grew louder, as if whatever was outside was trying to claw its way in. "What do we do?" Mrs. Smith whispered to her husband, her voice trembling. Mr. Smith stood up, his face pale, and approached the door. He peered through the peephole but saw nothing. He opened the door slowly, and a gust of cold air swept into the room. That's when they saw them. A pack of wolves, their eyes glowing yellow in the dark, standing right outside their doorstep. Mr. Smith slammed the door shut, locking it with shaking hands. The family huddled together, listening to the wolves howl and scratch at the door. They knew they couldn't stay here forever. They needed help, but who could they turn to? Just then, a knock came at the window. They looked at each other in terror, wondering if the wolves had found another way in. But when they approached the window, they saw a figure standing outside, cloaked in shadow. It was Old Man Jenkins, the village elder. He had come to check on the Smiths after hearing the commotion. "I see you have visitors," he said grimly, eyeing the wolves. "I'll go get the others." Within minutes, the villagers arrived, armed with torches and weapons. Together, they fought off the wolves and chased them back into the forest. The Smiths were safe, but they knew they wouldn't forget this night anytime soon. From now on, they would make sure to keep their doors locked and their fires burning bright, knowing that the wolves were always just beyond the edge of town, waiting for their chance to strike.